Next on PIJN News, Dr. Chaps reports on these important issues.
President Trump meets privately with evangelical leaders about his new Israel Land for Peace deal, but evangelicals are not confronting the president that may bring God's wrath. Today we have Dr. Anthony Harper at the White House.
Former Navy chaplain Gordon James Klingenschmitt took a stand to defend religious freedom by daring to pray publicly in Jesus' name. Now he helps you by reporting the news, discerning the spirits, and praying the scriptures. Would you pray with us? Here's Dr. Chaps.
God bless you in Jesus' name. My name is Chaplain Gordon James Klingenschmitt, Dr. Chaps, and you're watching PIJN News. On this show, we like to report the news, discern the spirits, and pray the scriptures. On today's show, we have a live update from the White House with our roving correspondent and expert in everything Israel. I'm talking about Dr. Anthony Harper is live in the Brady press room inside the White House. Anthony, welcome to the program.
Well, thank you for letting me join you today. It's great to be here.
So we're always excited when you get to go inside the White House and ask the tough questions to, of course, anyone who happens to be at the White House today. I wonder who's in charge and what's the environment like? President Trump had some people in the Oval Office. You were not invited, but what did they talk about?
This is with the Brazilian president, and the couple of the really key issues, I think, are regarding Venezuela. And from what I understand, probably talking with the Brazilian president about having some type of presence of the military there that could help on the border in any way. And so I don't have really an answer yet, a confirmed answer from the Brazilian president, where he would agree to American forces being there on the border to help in any way. That this is a very serious crisis, a humanitarian crisis in Venezuela that President Trump has been addressing here today.
Well, unfortunately, socialism has ruined what used to be the fourth largest economy in the world. Now the Venezuelan money is worthless. You can trade a loaf of bread for hundreds of thousands of Venezuelan dollars. And it's sad that the people are starving and marching, millions of them, against the socialist government. President Trump has recognized a capitalist as the new president of Venezuela, and we saw that in his State of the Union address. But right now, they're just trying to get humanitarian relief into the people so they don't literally starve to death. Let me change topics, Anthony. You were apprised of a meeting that President Trump may have had on March 10th with some evangelical leaders concerning Israel. And there is a new peace plan that's going to be proposed by President Trump. What have you heard?
Well, what I've heard from several news reports from various sources, Associated Press, Jerusalem Post, the Christian Post as well. But this evangelical leaders meeting didn't reveal anything about the evangelical leaders saying anything to President Trump about God's warning of dividing Israel. This warning is found in the prophet Joel chapter 3, verse 2. And so I haven't seen anything in print about Christian leaders telling President Trump that God is angry about this idea.
Well, that's interesting. If President Trump wanted to leak or get some vetting of his idea of a Middle East peace plan that literally divides Israel and gives land to the Palestinians in exchange for peace, you think that violates God's command in the Old Testament in Joel 3:2, that God is watching and that God will, essentially, to paraphrase, curse those nations that divide the land. Is America in trouble with God if President Trump's proposal goes forward?
Oh, I believe so. And I think a lot of evangelical leaders and even the Orthodox Jews would say that as well. But I just don't see, a clear communication with President Trump by these leaders of God's warning of this and of God's anger, actually, of this. And for those that don't know what Joel chapter 3, verse 2, it says, for God enters into judgment in the valley of Jehoshaphat, the nations that divide up his land. So check that out, Joel 3:2. It's very crucial that President Trump know our Judeo-Christian concerns on this matter, and obviously, if God is angry about that, we should be upset about it as well.
Well, I'm surprised that those who are inside the room, right? When I think of the nation's biggest organizations that are evangelical leaders, we think of Tony Perkins with Family Research Council. He might have been in the room. We think of Tim Wildman with American Family Association. He might have been in the room. We think of the pro-life groups like the Susan B. Anthony list, Marjorie Danzenfelser. I don't know if she was invited, but on Israel, there are, strong lobbies like AIPAC and a lot of John Hagee, a lot of our Christian evangelical brothers and sisters have the president's ear, and they're not saying anything. They're not warning him to stop dividing the land and stop giving away or proposing to give away Jewish land to Muslims. Who is the president probably listening to instead?
Well, I want to clarify that, like I said, I don't have any written documentation that these leaders are sharing God's anger about this. We need to know if they have shared in that private meeting about God's anger and the quoted the Joel 3:2 verse about this. But I believe that Saudi Arabia has more influence over the situation than many others.
That is interesting. Saudi Arabia has been, of course, an extreme Muslim kingdom, and yet one of America's closest allies. We fought alongside them in the Gulf War. They provide more oil to America, I think, than any other Middle Eastern country. But they are warming up to Israel, and the crown prince there, the new crown prince of Saudi Arabia, is reaching out to Israel. They're trying to, form alliances. Is that going to come with a new Palestinian land deal in exchange for what? Full sovereign recognition by Saudi Arabia of Israel's right to exist? The Palestinians will never recognize Israel's right to exist. So what does Saudi Arabia have to offer in exchange for this new endorsement of Trump's deal, if they could?
Well, according to one Jerusalem Post report, and seen this in other news sources, Associated Press, that this plan would involve Saudi Arabia and other oil-rich Arab nations bankrolling this deal. I think basically it would be like bribery, to Iran and to the Palestinians with Hamas and all that to be on their best behavior for a good sum of money, like in the trillions of dollars, probably. Somehow there's this false belief that having a large amount of money to offer Iran or whatever, and Hezbollah, whatever they'll be on their best behavior. Of course, we know from a biblical perspective that there will be a false peace plan that will be accepted, but only for 3.5 years.
Well, we've also seen in the news that the Muslim Democrat, I think from Minnesota, Ilhan Omar, the congresswoman, has been criticizing Israel and making anti-Semitic remarks such as, it's all about the Benjamin's baby. She thinks that money has too much influence in Washington, D.C. Is there any evidence that that President Trump is going to respond to this, or is he concerned about anti-Semitism? I know a lot of congressmen, including Nancy Pelosi, have weighed in. What do you think the White House atmosphere is?
Regarding anti-Semitism, clearly President Trump has made it very very clear on this issue of opposing anti-Semitism. And of course, that's Representative Omar that you had referenced was, I think, criticized by Judge Jeanine or something. And
Jeanine Pirro, has just been removed from Fox News, unfortunately.
Yeah, I don't know what would lead to Judge Jeanine being removed from Fox News, other than maybe a fear of offending Muslims in America over this issue. And so it's hard to know which media outlet to trust.
Well, you can trust PIJN News because we bring you the Christian version of the news right from the White House with Dr. Anthony Harper. Let's take a short break. When we come back, he has an update on the UN Relief Workers Agency that is promoting Muslims and Palestinians in the Middle East.
This is PIJN News, defending your religious freedom. Dr. Chaps will be right back.
If you've watched our program, you know that we stand with Israel as God's chosen people. We need you to sign a petition today. Why? Because did you know that even as Iran is now developing 800-mile range cruise missiles, could be nuclear tipped very soon, that our U.S. Congress has now 3 brand new freshman congresswomen. We call them the 3 anti-Semitic musketeers, Ocasio-Cortez and 2 Muslims, Tlaib and Omar. And they are influencing Nancy Pelosi to have the most anti-Semitic Congress in years. We need to stand with our friends in Israel, and that's why we're asking you to sign a petition. Visit prayinjesusname.org. Again, that's prayinjesusname.org. Don't divide Jerusalem. Stand with Israel and stand up to the United Nations. We will fax it to the Congress, but you need to sign today. Take a stand. Visit prayinjesusname.org and sign our petition today. We're here in Israel, in literally the scene of all of the holy sites, like the Via Dolorosa, where Jesus carried his cross, the Garden Tomb, where he was raised from the dead, the Sea of Galilee, where he taught the disciples. And I prayed, Lord, how can I bring this inspiring environment into your living room? And what we've produced is a 4 DVD disc set with the entire Gospel of Matthew. I teach every verse in all 28 chapters of Matthew in short 12-minute segments, so you can understand the exact words that Jesus taught from the exact location where Jesus lived. Pick up the phone right now and call us at 866-OBEY-GOD. Again, that's 866-OBEYGOD. For a suggested donation of just $50, we'll give you all 4 discs, the entire Gospel of Matthew, or you can write to us at the address on your screen or visit our website, prayinjesusname.org. You're going to love this Bible teaching. Pick up the phone and call us today.
Empowering you, the grassroots activist. Here is Dr. Chaps.
Welcome back. I'm Dr. Chaps, joined again by Anthony Harper, Dr. Anthony Harper, who is our White House correspondent. Anthony, mention your website and where can people subscribe to your YouTube page?
Our website is imcnews.org. You could do a Google search for Intermountain Christian News, but IM as in Mountain C News.org. You can look for a YouTube banner on our website, located near Twitter and Facebook, and just click on that to go to our page, and you can subscribe to get the latest news reports. Where I'm going to be. Of course, I think a hot event coming up is the Prime Minister election in April 9th for me to be in Israel.
Well, I hope you get a chance to go to Israel. Maybe we'll see you at the NRB convention at the end of this month in Anaheim. But I encourage people to donate, as our ministry has done, when they visit imcnews.org. Click on his PayPal, send him, a little bit of travel money to get over to Israel, to get to Washington. He's based out of Idaho, I think, or Montana. But Anthony, tell us about UNWRA, the UN Relief Workers Agency. You have an update and have been corresponding with a senator there.
Yes, I have. And Senator James Risch of Idaho, and I am from Boise, Idaho. So Senator James Risch is my senator. I initially asked him to look into this concern about U.S. funding of the UN agency UNWRA, which, by the way, for those that don't know what that means, is United Nations Relief Workers Agency. And a little bit of a history of the UNWRA was established at the time of Israel becoming a nation. There was a great humanitarian effort to help with the Arab displacement in 1948. Humanitarian efforts in education, with food, medicine, housing, whatever there. And so UNWRA has a long history there, but there's been a serious concerns of late about the misuse of U.S. tax dollars, and that's where Senator Risch comes in. The good news here recently is under pressure from him and some other congressmen, the State Department declassified the GAO report. And this is an investigation specifically that Senator Risch demanded to be made, and investigators were sent over to Israel. And what this GAO report is revealing is that the State Department was actually covering something up about the UNWRA was lying basically about the use of how the U.S. dollars are being spent, and lying on several issues. And for the State Department to classify and try to cover up this GAO report was very upsetting to Senator Risch and so many others.
Well, that's very disappointing. We have reports, in fact, after we hang up with you, we're going to show a video that UNWRA dollars from American taxpayers are going to Palestinian schools to literally train children to launch rockets against Jews and to kill Jews. They're teaching this in public schools. And that's one of the reasons that we don't want taxpayer dollars going there anymore. Or if we do, then our friend David Badin in Israel, when I was there, said that we have to have stronger strings attached. That if we send money through the United Nations, that they absolutely cannot teach Palestinian children in schools to kill Jews or to launch rockets. But that's exactly what they're doing. Is that what the GAO report says that the State Department was trying to hide?
What I saw in the GAO report was about the textbooks, that textbook issue, that there was evidence that was being minimized, that actually they were in denial that this hateful school curriculum, or the not acknowledging Israel as a nation in these maps in the textbooks was existing, was a problem. And there are other concerns that have been brought up. I know David Badin and some others in Israel are concerned about Hamas recruiting the UN students to, enticing them to violence during their off-school activities, into war games and practicing. But, this is a serious concern for Senator James Risch, and hopefully more will be revealed about this issue, about the U.S., whether it really has been defunded at this point, that all money has stopped. I hope we get the good news soon on that. And
well, that's my last question, and then we'll let you go after this. But the Trump administration has promised to defund UNWRA, and I know that they've already stopped programs funding to other United Nations programs. Has this been stopped, or has the Trump administration not yet kept that promise?
Well, we're according to my news source in Israel, David Badin, is that the question that he has is whether really doubts whether the funding has literally stopped. And so we have to find that out, if this has stopped, and when did it stop, and what are the plans, consideration to ever start it again. I know Ambassador Haley condemned UNWRA, and President Trump condemned UNWRA and threatened to defund it. And we even have Pastor John Hagee of Christians United for Israel that was condemning UNWRA as well.
Well, I think you're right. Thank you, Anthony, for this time. He has a website, Dr. Anthony Harper, can be contacted through imcnews.org. Anthony, thanks for what you do.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate you. Thank you.
All right, let's take a short break. When we come back, we will show, literally, Muslim Palestinian children learning to launch rockets and kill Jews with your taxpayer dollars. This is not right.
Dr. Chaps will be right back with more PIJN news.
If you've watched our program, you know that we stand with Israel as God's chosen people. We need you to sign a petition today. Why? Because did you know that even as Iran is now developing 800-mile range cruise missiles, could be nuclear tipped very soon, that our U.S. Congress has now 3 brand new freshman congresswomen. We call them the 3 anti-Semitic musketeers, Ocasio-Cortez and 2 Muslims, Tlaib and Omar. And they are influencing Nancy Pelosi to have the most anti-Semitic Congress in years. We need to stand with our friends in Israel, and that's why we're asking you to sign a petition. Visit prayinjesusname.org. Again, that's prayinjesusname.org. Don't divide Jerusalem. Stand with Israel and stand up to the United Nations. We will fax it to the Congress, but you need to sign today. Take a stand. Visit prayinjesusname.org and sign our petition today. We're here in Israel, in literally the scene of all of the holy sites, like the Via Dolorosa, where Jesus carried his cross, the Garden Tomb, where he was raised from the dead, the Sea of Galilee, where he taught the disciples. And I prayed, Lord, how can I bring this inspiring environment into your living room? And what we've produced is a 4 DVD disc set with the entire Gospel of Matthew. I teach every verse in all 28 chapters of Matthew in short 12-minute segments, so you can understand the exact words that Jesus taught from the exact location where Jesus lived. Pick up the phone right now and call us at 866-OBEY-GOD. Again, that's 866-OBEYGOD. For a suggested donation of just $50, we'll give you all 4 discs, the entire Gospel of Matthew, or you can write to us at the address on your screen or visit our website, prayinjesusname.org. You're going to love this Bible teaching. Pick up the phone and call us today.
Stay tuned for the end of our show to learn how to partner with this ministry. Here's Dr. Chaps.
Ever since March 30th, 2018, Hamas has been running terror attacks on the Gaza fence. Yet the actions of Hamas match the ideology of UNWRA. While the hands are the hands of Hamas, the voice is the voice of UNWRA. Children of UNWRA have evolved into the cannon fodder of Hamas.
مش خايف كل ما واحد بيموت شهيد ربنا بيعزه بالجنة.
These kids would not have become Hamas cannon fodder without the loaded ammunition of the UNWRA schools. Thousands of UNWRA students, as well as UNWRA teachers and workers, have participated in the March of Terror on the fence.
لأنه إحنا بنروح هناك عشان ندافع عن بلادنا واليهود يعني يخافوا ويروحوا يعني ونقتل يهود.
UNWRA, which cries about its fiscal crisis, has emerged as the only real winner in this battle. UNWRA has successfully implanted the false illusion of the right of return by force of arms in the hearts and minds of yet a 4th generation of Palestinian Arab refugees.
إن شاء الله من الشباب هدول الشباب الجيل هذا الجديد إن شاء الله حنحرر القدس وحنرجع لأراضينا إن شاء الله.
فإحنا بدنا نرجع بالقوة بالسلاح بصلاة الفجر بوحدتنا بدنا نرجع.
حنرجع بلادنا وغصبا عن اليهود.
برجع بلدي في القوة. أنا ضحي بدمائنا ومالنا ونرجع إن شاء الله لبلدنا.
حرجع بالقوة إنه إحنا ما نتنازلش عن السلاح، إنه إحنا نحافظ على الصلاة، يكون عندنا تقوى لله عشان ربنا ينصرنا.
Because of its strengthened dedication to the right of return, UNWRA has been able to stand up to the world and ask for even more funds for its very existence. This year, like in previous years, Hamas ran military training summer camps for UNWRA students under the slogan, "The March of Return is now."
في هذا العام مخيمات راجع لبلادي بمشاركة ما يزيد عن 100,000 مشارك ومشاركة.
أنا جاي هنا المخيمات إني أستفيد إن كيف أرجع بلادي، كيف أرجع عرضي وشرفي، كيف أرجع للقدس.
القدس هي إلنا ولازم نرجعها بأي قوة، ولا بنفعش نخلي اليهود ياخذوا نصها وإحنا نصها، لازم ناخذها كلها.
In Gaza, we visited the UNWRA children in their summer camps. We heard from them what they are learning. We heard from them about their summer camp experience. We learned about the values that they learn about the right of return by force of arms.
بلدي هي بلاد المسلمين وبلاد العرب، وليست لهؤلاء الصهاينة الذين مروا من جميع العالم، مروا على هذا شعبنا المجاهد.
ولا يمكن أن ننفصل عن مجتمعنا وعن قضيتنا، لكن نحن ملتزمون بالمناهج الدراسية التي وضعتها وزارة التربية والتعليم.
وهذه القدس للمسلمين وليست للكفار.
القدس عاصمة فلسطين، عاصمة فلسطين فقط، ولا نقبل أن تكون عاصمة اليهود أبداً.
الله أكبر، الله أكبر.
يلا امشوا،
أنتم الذين سرقتم الأرض ودنستم بأقدامكم العرض، وها نحن ندوس بأقدامنا رقابكم إلا الذين لم يعرفونا من نكون. نحن جيل العودة وانتفاضة القدس، ونحن راجع لبلادي. نحن مخيمات حماس. تكبير، تكبير.
In 2018, 68 nations donated more than $1 billion to UNWRA to sanctify the status of 5 million Palestinian refugees, most of whom are now third or fourth generation descendants from the original refugees from 1948. 54% of the UNWRA budget is allocated to a school system which indoctrinates all children to fight for the right of return by force of arms. The Terror at the Fence campaign run by Hamas is based on the UNWRA school system. What we have here is brainwashing to prepare robotic armed children for the next round of fighting. The terror campaign run by Hamas through violent demonstrations on the border is now seen by thousands of descendants of Arab refugees from 1948 as the Terror Return Campaign.
This is PIJN News.
Thank you for standing with us and supporting Israel as best we can. Please sign a petition today when you visit prayinjesusname.org. Join us, and we will defend God's favorite people. Our website is prayinjesusname.org. We also need your donations to bring you these exciting interviews. Please donate when you visit, or call us toll-free at 866-OBEY-GOD with your best pledge, or if you just need prayer, call us at 866-OBEY-GOD. We'll see you next time. Today I want to invite you to sign an important petition to Congress to protect military chaplains, especially their right to pray publicly in Jesus' name. If you remember my story, you know that I was vindicated by Congress in 2006 after I took a principled stand for the right to pray in Jesus' name. But Congress never did pass a positive law to let chaplains pray according to their conscience. Would you sign that petition with me? Let's take action today.
Dr. Chaps needs your financial support to stay on the air. Would you please send your best donation today? Please visit prayinjesusname.org to donate online. Or you can mail a check to Pray in Jesus Name Ministries, Post Office Box 77077, Colorado Springs, Colorado 80970. You can also call us toll-free right now at 866-OBEY-GOD. That's 866-OBEY-GOD. Please sign up for our free emails at prayinjesusname.org. Again, that's prayinjesusname.org.